Hey y'all, this is Pastor Krishan. I'm glad to be with you today as we continue our series on Ask a Pastor. Question today is, why do we observe a church calendar? Well, in the Presbyterian world, not everybody does, and so you may be asking yourself, why does Hope Presbyterian do so? Or you may be coming from a tradition that does not actively do that. Well, there's not a right or wrong. It's not like if you've come from a background that doesn't observe the church calendar, that you've been doing it wrong. There's nothing like that. But it is a preference here at Hope Presbyterian Church, and one of the reasons is because it really does help us organize how we pursue things. I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, human beings are just people who are used to observing times and seasons and things like that, especially for those of us who are parents and youth and kids. You understand a schedule, a school calendar makes so much sense. You start here, you've got a break here, you've got an ending there, all those kinds of things. And so when we talk about the church calendar, one of the things that it really, really helps us do is it gives us such enormous pastoral value. I mean, it really does help us kind of stand against the cultural pressures of you got to do this, got to do that, got to do all this other stuff that's out there, and following worldly patterns, and instead focusing back on different aspects. So in the church calendars, there's a couple of main times or main events that are going on within that. It's now December. We are in the month of Advent. One of the things that the month of Advent does is it prepares us not only for Christmas. And look, we all enjoy Christmas. Of course, we've got obviously the world enjoys Christmas to a degree, as long as it's about the gift giving and everything else. But in the church, it's really that remembering of what the birth of Christ is about, but of greater importance, not that the birth of Christ is not important, it is extremely important, but for the memory of what is to come. The fact that Advent was both a looking forward to the birth of Christ, and now we are looking forward to the return of Christ. So that's what the Advent season does for us. And then we move into an Epiphany season that's traditionally built around the coming of the wise men and going on from there. And then there's coming on about in generally following the church calendar, sometime February, March. The date kind of varies based on a whole lunar cycle. That's completely different. We'll talk about that at a later date. But then that is followed by Lent, which is kicked off by Ash Wednesday. And so we have that. And then there's basically about 6 weeks of Lent. And again, that's preparing us for the coming crucifixion, celebrating of Holy Week, where we get Palm Sunday with the remembering of Jesus entering into Jerusalem. And then you've got Maundy Thursday, which is the Last Supper. You've got Good Friday, which is the day that we recognize the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And then, of course, Easter Sunday. The resurrection of Jesus Christ. Then you go for a little bit longer than there. You've got, after 40 days of Easter, you've got the Ascension. 10 days after that, you've got Pentecost. And then you go into this time where you're observing a church calendar, although it's not in a season per se. But then you're preparing again to go back into the Advent season and start all over again. But it's really just this great thing that allows us to focus through the life, the death, the resurrection, the ascension, and of course the certain second coming of Jesus Christ. So I hope that's been helpful. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.